Pete Hegseth went a long way today, in my opinion, in getting my full support. But I want him to be able to answer in front of everybody else the questions that are there and to do a good job on it. I really think the president's got the right approach in this particular nominee in terms of his vision for making the Department of Defense more lethal.
Pete Hegseth making the rounds on Capitol Hill this week, the Defense Secretary nominee facing tough questions and many believe a character assassination as he fights to lead the Pentagon. Will the Army veteran and former journalist be able to navigate the confirmation process? Here to weigh in is someone he made the rounds with, South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds. Senator Rounds is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee and the Select Committee on Intelligence. Senator, welcome to America Right Now. Thank you very much for being with us. You met with Mr. Hegseth. How would you characterize the meeting earlier this week and your perception of his aptitude for the job?
It was a positive meeting. I think he has the right attitude moving in. He's one of these young veterans that has been boots on the ground in multiple locations. He's been in combat. He's seen firsthand what works and what does not. He brings a fresh approach to the head of the department itself, and different than when we've had generals step into that position. And in fact, the founding fathers, or at least a number of our laws, actually expect that you take someone that has not been directly involved with the department for a period of at least 5 years, and he meets that qualifications. I found him refreshing. I thought his ideas about what it's going to take to make the department more lethal was focused. I liked his approach, and I felt comfortable with our discussion.
It sounds to me that at this point you are a yes vote. At this point.
What I shared with him at that time, and this is a couple days ago now that we've visited, was that I liked the approach that he was taking. He's gone a long ways. I see a path forward for him to be successful, but he's going to have some challenges in that he will be in an open discussion with a number of individuals who are going to ask him really tough questions about allegations that have been made.
Yeah.
The allegations that have been made, for the most part, have been anonymous in nature, which means he's never had an opportunity to defend himself.
Right.
And I think he deserves the opportunity to defend himself in front of America, to be able to correct any misinformation that's out there right now.
President-elect Trump recently tapped former Chief of Staff to the Secretary of Defense and attorney Kash Patel to be his director of the FBI to replace Christopher Wray, whom Trump has been a vocal critic of. You told ABC News this week that you have no objections to the way that Mr. Wray has handled his job so far. Here's some of what you had to say, sir.
I'll also share with you that Chris Wray, who the president nominated the first time around, and I think the president picked a very good man to be the director of the FBI when he did that in his first term. When we meet with him behind closed doors, I've had no objections to the way that he's handled himself. And so I don't have any complaints about the way that he's done his job right now.
Senator Wray and his department, as I'm sure you're aware, have come under fire over the past number of years for a number of controversies, including spying on Catholics, suppressing allegations about Biden family influence peddling, leaving violent anti-Semitic campus protests unmonitored, the Mar-a-Lago raid against President Trump's homes, actions surrounding January 6th, excessive use of force against pro-life activists, and more. Public confidence in the agency is at an all-time low. Why do you think that Mr. Wray deserves to continue in his role as FBI director?
There are two parts to the answer. First of all, the meetings that we have with him are behind closed doors with regard to intelligence activities. And we meet with a lot of different individuals who have a role to play within the collection of intelligence and the dissemination of that material. Chris Wray is one of the guys that comes before our Intelligence Committee behind closed doors, and he shoots straight with us. And he talks to us not only about the way that they collect the intelligence, we don't have to drag it out of him. He is very forthcoming. But also in regard to a number of those issues in which we were very critical of the department's handling of some of those items that you just laid out. He has acknowledged where the agency has done something that was incorrect, and he shared with us the internal workings of what they've done to correct those situations. He's not perfect, and most certainly that department needs to have an overhaul. What I'm getting at, though, is that he had been the president's nominee, and I wasn't going to criticize one of the president's nominees at this stage of the game. He had a 10-year term, which is what was in law. I recognize that, and if the president wants him to continue on, I'll support him. But the president also has the right to choose those that he wants to be in the different departments.
Right.
So if the president decides that he is going to ask for Mr. Ray's resignation and he's going to look at Kash Patel, then that's fine. And in fact, I've actually had discussions with folks that know Kash, that saw the work that he did when he was in the House of Representatives, working on intel matters and areas behind closed doors. They indicate that he is a quick study, that he was one of the guys who did his homework, and a very intelligent man, and that he was moving in the right direction.
Finally, Senator, you've put forward a bill called the Returning Education to Our States Act, calling for the elimination of the Department of Education, which you believe will save taxpayers billions of dollars annually. Talk to us quickly about your bill and why you think the Department of Education needs to go.
Right, there's two parts to this. First, as governor in South Dakota, I was frustrated with the way that the Department of Education was dictating to our state department and to local school boards what they had to do in order to qualify for grants. It was not following the letter of the law that the Congress had laid out. It was based upon what a bureaucrat wanted to see in their experimentations with our kids. I was frustrated by that. So we started looking at all of the items that had been transferred into the Department of Education when it was formed in 1979, that a lot of the American people would expect to continue on. Special education funding, IDEA funding, Native American education funding, those types of items. They would go back to the agencies in which they had originally been set up for. We believe we can save at least $1 to $1.3 billion a year and not limit any of the funding that currently goes back to local school districts or to states. And we could also block grant the money so that the states would have the ability to use it the way that they see fit, while still following the legislation that Congress passed with regard to special needs kids.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Certainly, that's going to be a big topic of conversation once President-elect Trump takes office in January. South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.